Now we are going to start with the detailed study of the compound, that is the washing soda, right. So first thing what like by looking at the name, you should the first thing you should know that what actually is the chemical formula for the washing soda. So what is the formula for the washing soda? Just look at the board. It is Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. So this is the name for the washing soda, that is like if we this is the common name for this Na2CO3.10H2O, but when we talk about the chemical name, so just look at the board that what actually the chemical name is going to be. It is going to be sodium carbonate, 10 means deca and H2O means hydrate. So the chemical name is sodium carbonate decahydrate. Right. Do you know that before we start with washing soda, I just want to tell you one thing, that do you know what is this H2O? Do you know that? Because see, every substance, you must be thinking like by looking at the formula that every substance has some amount of water or water in it, right. But in case of every chemical substance, we do not write this kind of water molecules like with the formula. We just write the formula of the compound, and in many of the compounds you don't get to see this dot H2O, right. So what actually is this H2O, or why I am writing this H2O along with this Na2CO3? So see, what happens when the water is present in any chemical substance, sometimes it is chemically combined, sometimes it is just present, right. So in this case, when you just see the formula in which the water is present or you can say it is written in the form as I wrote for washing soda, that is the dot and H2O, it means the water of crystallization. This kind of water is called as water of crystallization. And you know what is the meaning of this water of crystallization? It means that this much molecules of water are in chemical combination with that given compound. As you can see in this case, so what it denotes actually that with one molecule of Na2CO3, there is the 10 molecules of water which are in chemical combination. So that means 10 molecules of water are chemically combined with the one molecule of sodium carbonate. So this so I think it's clear that whenever you get to see this kind of thing, that you get to see that dot H2 or something like that, it means that this much water molecules are in chemical combination with the given chemical substance, right. So this is the water of crystallization. So again, coming to the washing soda. So what is the chemical name for the washing soda? You all know now, it is sodium carbonate decahydrate. So it is the chemical name for the washing soda. Now our concern is that how we prepare this washing soda, what are the properties of this washing soda, and where this washing soda is being used, right. So first we are going to start with the preparation of the washing soda, right. So first we are going to start with the preparation. Now when we talk of preparation, so see, like we have different methods to prepare different chemical substances, right. So that means there is not only you can say one method which is concerned with the preparation of any one chemical substance. We have many methods. So likewise, we have many methods for the preparation of this washing soda. But out of them, you know that one method is the popular method which is being used in the preparation of this washing soda, and that method is called as Solvay process. Right. Now the question must be arising in your mind that what is this process and what is the advantage of this process that it is popularly used. So the advantage is actually that in many of the processes what you get to see that when you prepare a desired chemical substance, so along with that many side products are formed. So that means there you can say with the main compound we get to have many small compounds which are present, but they are just left unused, right. So that means it leads to the wastage of the chemical substances. But in case of the Solvay process, there is you can say all the substances which are produced during the process are just recycled or they are reused. So that means no chemical substance just get wasted. So that means this process is actually very beneficial because it leads to the reuse of the substances which are formed during the chemical reaction. Just look at the board. So because just to make you familiar with its utility, first we should know that what actually is the Solvay process, right. So just look at the board. So first thing is that that what are the raw materials, because when we just want to start with the Solvay process, we should be familiar with the raw materials which are actually required in the Solvay process for the preparation of washing soda. So the raw materials are ammonia, water, sodium chloride and carbon dioxide. So these are the four substances which are initially used for the preparation of washing soda. So what we do actually, see there is a complete apparatus in which all the reactions involved are carried out. We'll be doing it later, but at this moment I just want to make you familiar with the process or the reactions which are actually involved. Then we'll be starting with the figure that like in which tower which kind of reaction is taking place. So just look at the board. So I think it's clear that the raw materials which are required for the preparation of washing soda is ammonia, water, this is the salt and the carbon dioxide. Now just look at the board how the reaction starts. So first of all what happens, NaCl combines with water, and when NaCl combines with water, the mixture, or you can say the mixture of water with NaCl is called as brine. So first we prepare the brine, right, then we mix it with ammonia. And you know, when ammonia is mixed with brine, it is no longer called as brine, it is called as ammoniated brine. So it is ammoniated brine. So the first thing what we are doing, we will be having ammoniated tower in which we will be forming the ammoniated brine. How? By mixing the brine, that is the mixture of NaCl and water with the ammonia, right. Then after getting this ammoniated brine, so this whole is happening, I am just writing the name of towers along. So this whole is carrying out in a ammoniated tower. So we have a tower, that is the ammoniated tower in which the ammoniated brine is formed. Then after the formation of ammoniated brine, we are just going to feed this ammoniated brine into the another tower that is called as carbonating tower. So I am just going to feed this ammoniated brine into the another tower, that is the carbonating tower, right. So that means here these chemical substances are fed into the carbonating tower. Now what happens in the carbonated tower? So this ammoniated brine, that is the NaCl, water and ammonia, it get mixed with the carbon dioxide. So actually in the carbonating tower, as the name suggests the carbonating, so that means we will make the ammoniated brine react with the carbon dioxide, right. So this is what is happening in this tower. And what we get as a result, when they react, they form NH4Cl, ammonium chloride, and along with that we get sodium bicarbonate, right. So what happens, this ammoniated brine just reacts with the carbon dioxide present in the carbonating tower, and it forms the ammonium chloride and the sodium bicarbonate. Now our main product is this, right, because we are concerned with the washing soda, which is Na2CO3. So obviously our main product is the sodium compound. So here is our main compound, that is NaHCO3, right. So now we wish to get this Na2CO3.NH2O out of this NaHCO3. So what we will do, we will separate this NaHCO3, and after separating this NaHCO3, what we are going to do, because we haven't got a main product, right. So what we are going, you can see that it is a sodium bicarbonate, we wish to get sodium carbonate. So what we will do, we will heat it, and when we will heat it, we will get sodium carbonate, CO2 and water vapor. So this is what we are going to get, that is the sodium carbonate, CO2 and water vapor. This sodium carbonate is anhydrous. Now what do you mean by anhydrous or anhydrated substance? Though I think it's clear that whenever I talk of anhydrous, it means it is lacking in water, but when I mean the hydrated, it means it possesses the water of crystallization, right. So when I am talking about anhydrous, as you can see, it is only Na2CO3, there is no water molecule, so it is called as the anhydrous sodium carbonate. It is called as anhydrous sodium carbonate, right. And you know what, it has a special common name for the anhydrous sodium carbonate, and that name is something called as soda ash. So if somebody asks you that like which substance is called as soda ash, you should be quick with the answer that it is anhydrous sodium carbonate. So now what happens, when we get this Na2CO3 and we compare it with our washing soda, what is the difference between two? just the water of crystallization, right? So what we'll be doing, we'll be just reacting this Na2CO3 with the 10 desired number of water of crystallization, that is 10 H2O, right? So we'll be just combining Na2CO3 with 10 H2O, and as a result we'll get a washing soda, that is our desired product. Now the question is, so this is whole is the Solvay process, but it also includes its the utility point. So what was the utility point? As I told you that this process is popularly used. The reason behind that, the side products which we get in that can be reused. Now we are going to see that how those side products are getting reused. So just look at the board. So for the reuse of the substances, we add a substance, that is CaCO3. What is CaCO3? You know that it is calcium carbonate, and the common name for CaCO3 is limestone. So what happens? We have a lime kiln. So this is what we have just separated in the carbonating tower. Simultaneously, this is happening in a tower that is called as lime kiln. Right. So what is there? We are just we have maintained a temperature there. So calcium carbonate just get decomposed. So what it is forming? It is forming calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is this thing going into the carbonating tower. As you saw that in carbonating tower, I told you that it is this ammoniated brine is reacting with the carbon dioxide. So what is the source of that carbon dioxide? The source is the the decomposition of calcium carbonate. So this CO2 is just fed into the carbonating tower, right? Then now we are just looking for its utilities. As I told you that it is a process in which the byproducts gets reused. So how it is going to get reused, just look at the board. This calcium oxide is now going to react with the byproducts. Whenever I use the term byproduct or side product, it means the same. I am talking about the products which we don't desire or which are just formed along with the main products, right? So what is happening here? We have CaO, and just look at all reactions. So what byproducts are formed in all these reactions? So one byproduct is this ammonium chloride, because it is formed along with our main product, that is the sodium bicarbonate, right? So we just want that this compound should be reused in one or other way, right? So what happens? This ammonium chloride, first of all this calcium oxide react with this water and form slaked lime, that is calcium hydroxide. Then this calcium hydroxide react with the side product which is not desired, that is ammonium chloride, which was formed in a carbonating tower to form calcium chloride, ammonia and water. So like by looking at this reaction, what you can say, what advantage do you get, what advantage do you see actually of Solvay process? You can see that in the third reaction it has formed ammonia and the water. And what is the purpose of this thing? What purpose ammonia and water is solving? You know that ammonia and the water are the two raw materials of the Solvay process. So they can be just you can say refed into the the ammoniated tower, in which they will form the brine again, and this is how the reaction will be taking place. So I think it's clear that why the Solvay process is an important process and what is the advantage for that. So I'm just explaining you again, just look at the board. So these are the raw materials: ammonia, water, NaCl and carbon dioxide. What we did, we formed the brine, we mixed with the ammonia to form ammoniated brine, then we fed into a carbonating tower, right? So in which the CO2 is just rising from the downward, and from the upward side we have this ammoniated brine coming. So both react and form the ammonium chloride and sodium bicarbonate. We are concerned with sodium bicarbonate because our product lies within sodium bicarbonate. So we just separate it, heat it, and we get the soda ash. Then we mix it with 10 molecules of water of crystallization and we get the washing soda. And now as far as its utility is concerned, so we just have CaCO3 which get decomposed, then the slaked lime is formed, and then this slaked lime combines with this ammonium chloride in order to form this, and you can see that this ammonia and water can be refed into this tower and can be reused. So this is what is the Solvay process. Now when we talk about its properties, we are going to, as we all are familiar now that how it is prepared. Now when we talk of its properties, that how it looks like or how it behaves under given conditions. So just look at the board. So when we talk of its properties, so what happened? It is a crystalline solid, white color. It is white color, crystalline solid. Right. The second thing is that what is the effect of heat on it, right? Suppose I have the sodium carbonate, that is our washing soda, 10H2O. What is the effect of heat? Like if I heat it, what kind of change it is going to have? So what happens when we heat any substance which possess water? So that means that water will get evaporate, and on evaporating, what it will produce? It will produce a soda ash, and the 10 molecules of water crystallization will get separate. So that means washing soda just get converted into the soda ash. Now other important properties that it shows efflorescence. It shows efflorescence. What is efflorescence actually? What happens when you, like if you take a dish and you keep washing soda into it and you expose it to air, we keep it in air, right? So what happens with the passage of time, again the evaporation take place, that water of crystallization just get evaporate. So but not all the water molecules get evaporate, the 9 molecules of water of crystallization get evaporated when washing soda is exposed to air, and that is something called as efflorescence. Look at the board. So what is efflorescence again? We have washing soda, that is Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. When we keep it in air, what happens? The 9 water molecules will get evaporate, leaving what will left behind? This thing, Na2CO3 and dot 10H2O. It generally show that not all the water of crystallization just get evaporated, only the few molecules just get evaporated. So this is what is the efflorescence. So write in your copies what is the efflorescence. It is the loss of 9 molecules of water of crystallization when washing soda is exposed to air. Again, the loss of 9 molecules of water of crystallization when washing soda is exposed to air, and then you are going to write this equation which is involved. So this is what is the properties, and now the, like you are familiar with the preparation and properties, so this must be knocking your mind that where this important chemical compound is being used, right? So see, it has a this thing, it is contributing in many industries, like it is used in the preparation of glass, it is used in the preparation of paper, it is used in a soap industry, and moreover you know that it has a property that it can remove hardness of water. This is an important use of washing soda, that it is used to remove the hardness of water, which is particularly due to the calcium sulfates and magnesium sulfates or calcium chlorides or magnesium chlorides. So it has a property that it can react with them and it can remove the hardness of the water. And likewise, it is a chemical compound, so obviously it must be using in a lab as a reagent. And you know, it has a cleansing action as well. It has a cleansing properties too. So if we just sum up its use, so it has a broad use, that one, it is used in many kind of industries, like in the preparation of glass, paper, soap, as I told you. It has a cleansing property too, so obviously must be using in a cleansing agents. And like I told you that it is used as it is a chemical, so obviously it is used as a reagent in lab in many processes. And likewise you can say that it is just serving very many important uses. So this is what is the washing soda.